I suppose, in what way did you encounter God over the weekend, which I know is quite a difficult one?
But did you have a God moment?
Did you have a God moment?
Yeah.
Could you expand on
I
that?
didn't realise we were going to get straight into like those sort of questions. Okay. Yeah, I definitely had some God moments, and for me, it started with the very first session that I went to, and it finished with the last session that I went to. So I guess God spoke to me in two ways. One, he reinforced to me something that I've been doing is the right pathway. Sometimes when you step out, you're not quite sure whether you're heading in the right direction. And then I also got a heck of a lot out of the teaching as well. So, yeah.
Cool.
I went.
It should be. Yep, it's great.
I went along. This is my first time I've been to New Wine.
Newbie.
A real newbie, not knowing what to expect at all.
So can I just clarify, like most of us tented, but you...
Yeah, Rosie and I went together and we stayed in a motel. So we walked in and said, here's the old ladies by the old man. And we were frequently called the old ladies, so we started calling him the grumpy old man after that. But that was okay.
That would be true.
But we had a great time. We really enjoyed it. So we were on site and off site, I guess, because we enjoyed the best of both worlds. We lived slept in nice beds, not in a tent, Mike, and enjoyed the bed. And we were able to go back and have our lunch back in the motel and enjoy some quiet time and actually reflective time. Rosie and I spent some time talking about the sessions we went to, what it meant to us, and able to just talk about what we were doing, what we got out of it, and that was really good, I think, for certainly for me, and I think for both of us actually, and enjoyed each other's company also, which was really lovely, and that also helped me in many ways too. But we also didn't know what to expect, and when we got there, found that people were saying, "Oh, this is very different to other times," but for us it wasn't, because it was our first time. Another thing I think that we both got out of it was meeting a lot of our church friends in a very different way. We got to talk with a lot of you that we don't talk and meet with you apart from here on Sundays, and sometimes we just say hello and just see you, and we got to sit and talk with you, and that was fantastic. So it was great. But yeah, so I didn't know what to expect. Perhaps had higher expectations than I got, or maybe I had lower expectations, I'm not sure. But one of the things that I particularly got, I love songs. I can't sing and I don't play an instrument, but I love music. And so my first real thing was at the end of the first day, we were spread into 5 different meeting places to go and hear speakers. And happened on the first day, the last place I went to was they have a performing arts area in the school, and one of the venues was there, and it was their theatre, and they have a stage, and so they had a band there, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. And also they had really comfortable seats because it was a theatre, not school chairs, and I found that I went back there quite often. The speakers were good in that area, but also the chairs were good, but the band was amazing. It was Rachel Dan and a group of different artists, musicians from Palmerston North churches, and they were just stunning, and I loved being there. But one particular session, one of the ministry team said, "I really love the drummer." He said, "We could have a time of prayer, and could you just play the drums?" And I thought he'd just play them quietly. He just let rip, and man, did the prayers that I prayed in that time, and he was, the roof just about came down as he drummed. It was stunning, but boy, did I pray. It was, and that for me was a real God moment.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, Isaac, you were another newbie, eh? First time?
Yep.
Yeah. So did you know what to expect, or was it a bit like, oh,
No, not really. I just kind of got forced to go.
don't you love it? Are they present in this room right now?
Yeah, they're wearing an orange dress.
I wonder who that is.
Well, we thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you over the time. It was really cool.
My God moment, like you hear stories of like people seeing things and hearing things, and I've never really experienced that before. But on the last night session that I went to, they started playing like just quietly, and we got to think and pray and all that. And I saw an image of, it was a cow in a muddy paddock, but it had golden hooves. If that like is anything to anyone, tell me, because I have no idea what that is. But it was like, you have thoughts, but it wasn't a thought, it was like a really clear image of just this cow with pure gold hooves in this muddy paddock. And that was like the first time I ever felt that.
Hey, that's cool. In some ways, it was so bizarre that you couldn't go, oh, I created that, because who creates a picture of a cow with gold hooves? I mean, that's just so random.
Yeah.
And so that was like a real connection with God space for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Sarah.
So I had quite a different new one experience this year. Yellow top.
Can
Actually,
you stand up and show your yellow top off?
sure, it's just got the 21 pulpit. So I was helping out at Kids Zone. I'd seen over the last few months leading up to Kids Zone these messages come up on Instagram going, we need extra helpers, and I was like, oh yeah, whatever, not me. And then literally the Saturday before New Wine, it came up for about the billionth time, and I went, oh man, are you trying to tell me something, God? So I literally just messaged and said, look, I'm a teacher, I can help out if you need me, if you're short, whatever. And they're just like, oh my goodness, you're just an answer to prayer. And then I told Andrew, like thinking, oh yeah, he'll be like, oh yeah, are you sure that's what you want to do? Like, really? And he replied, oh, I can help out too. And I was like, far out, man. So our total, Andrew and I basically job shared. So I did the morning sessions with the kids program, and Andrew would do the evening sessions with the kids program, so that we could, obviously with our kids and trying to manage us and our time at New Wine as well. And I was like going, oh, this is going to be really, I'm just doing it for the kids program. When I kind of left after that Saturday and kind of organising it, going, I'm not going to get anything out of it this time. Funnily enough, I got quite a bit out of it, quite a bit. I managed to only go to 2 sessions over the whole time of the main sessions. Those 2 sessions, God hit me hard both of those times. Then within the kids program, we also had ministry time, both beforehand, and then Andrew had ministry time in the evening before these sessions. So we were encountering God within our kids zone area, / I also got to go to 2. But pretty much my biggest God moment was for a very long time, I felt like I'm just a mum, just a teacher, just a wife, just a principal's wife. And for me, that I'm actually God's A-plan. I'm God's A-plan for Andrew. I'm God's A-plan for my children. I'm God's A-plan for the kids I teach. And God wants to use me in whatever capacity that is that God wants to use me. I must admit, it's not an easy thing to come with when your life has been that you're just this label, to kind of adjust and go, I'm actually God's A-plan and He wants to use me. And for me, that was huge, and a real God moment. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Quick fire.
Can I just say something?
Yeah. Quick fire.
Yeah, so just so if you haven't been to a New Wine Festival, you know, it's a chance to, I guess, pause for a few days and go into a camp environment with, in this case, there was 1,200 people from other churches in the lower half of the North Island, and it is interdispersed, I guess, with going to speakers morning and afternoon. In our case, with St Andrews, we set up our own little area with marquees and have a lot of time together where we can share. And then there's games and spare time and stuff like that. So I often, when I'm about to head away to New Wine, I'm normally quite rushed. And I just think, flippin' heck, why do I do this? And at the end of New Wine, I just can't wait till the next one, because I go there and I realise that I've just paused for a few days and actually given God an opportunity to speak to me, either through the speakers or, you know, when you're sharing in a group back in the marquee and you're discussing what that speaker said and whatever. And so, yeah, that's
Thank
just
you.
giving me a bit of a glimpse.
Yep. Anybody to say one more thing? No?
God can use you, even if it's for that little bit. Yeah, God can use you, even if you think, oh, I don't know, but whether it's going for the whole sessions and you only manage with kids or with volunteering in the kids zone and you only get to, God will meet you where you are, where you're at. And if that's at New Wine, that's awesome. New Wine is fantastic and definitely well worth the 2 years we've been, loved it. But whether that's, God will meet you wherever you are, whether that's here in church, in your work environment, at home, God will meet you and talk to you. Just pause, stop, pause and listen.
Cool.
Hey,
Thank you.
that's awesome, guys. Hey, thanks for that. And I love that switch from being just to a plan. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Before the next lot come up, we've got a little clip that gives you a glimpse of what New Wine looked like this year.
Thank you. Can we give them a hand? Thank you very much.
Right, can we have Josh, Michelle, Penny and Mike, please?
Welcome. Second lot. We only got to question one with the first lot. They didn't want to talk anymore after that. So did you hear that first question? In what ways did you encounter God over New Wine?
Or a God moment.
Or a God moment?
Okay, so one of the images that came up in one of the program meeting places was the image of God reaching for Adam, you know, that one, the Sistine Chapel picture. How God is stretching out and he's trying really hard to get to us and we just have to make one little move. Before New Wine, I made a decision that I really wanted to meet with God, that I really desired it. And he met with me, which was so awesome. At all the things that we went to, he continually spoke to me about how he was always with me, always, which was awesome. And one of the ones we went to, Aaron Ironside's wife, Debbie, prayed for me, and she told me how God saw me, and it was very beautiful, and it really touched my heart. And it was so many God moments, but all of them spoke the same sort of thing, same message, different people, back into my heart. Yeah.
So would you say there was been some sort of healing over the time and continuing to be because of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, very much so.
Because I was thinking about that before, that quite often we're looking to grow in our relationship with God and growth in ourselves. And it's also so interlinked with healing, that's all part of that process.
Yeah, I had a God moment when we had, I think me and Angie, gone to a healing session. And yeah, I was sort of, the seminar went really well. I was sort of on my way out the door and left Angie and them. And as I was on my way out, these two sisters wanted to pray for me. And I said, yeah, no, that'd be fine. I've had a bit of a sore back for 2 months or something. And they also, it was the first time as well I heard someone talk in tongues. I'd never really seen or knew what that meant. Anyway, they prayed on me 3 different times. And I felt that, my back did heal. And I was very amazed at that. And then also...
Because you had your family there, eh, Josh? Yeah. And have they got faith?
They have a spiritual faith, but Māori obviously, and yeah, I wouldn't say their feelings were different, but coming along this time, they really felt God's presence. There was an occasion when Penny Delman, who's up the front here, she had a vision. We had just been to a seminar with my family, my sister and my mum, and just got back to our tent, and then she sort of approached us sort of randomly, and she had this vision of a butterfly, the coastline, and the mountain, yeah. And for us, there was confirmation that God is out there.
And that would have so spoken to your family as well, hearing those words, because they'd know the significance of that.
Yeah, so the butterfly had a lot to do with our son who had passed away 13 odd years ago. We just saw a lot of butterflies floating around when he passed.
Yeah.
And Mum and them are from, my family's from Taranaki, so the mountain and the coastline was very special.
Isn't it cool how God encounters us? Sometimes so out of the blue, but so core to who we are. It's just, no one can manufacture that. It's God, and it's awesome.
I came to New Wine prepared to kind of work. I'm a practical person. I was like, right, I'll help Dave put up these tents. I'll help Dave do this, and I'll get into it. Quite a few people know that I haven't been in the best headspace for a bit. And the first night, which we were there on the Wednesday, not the Wednesday, by Thursday I was just in this real funky headspace. And as everyone was setting up, I went to sleep. I'm probably pretty glad that happened. But I remember going, I could just sneak out tonight and I could just pack up our stuff and just go. Which I've learned is my tendency. If I'm feeling iffy, just get out, go, leave everybody. Anyways, everything was different, and change probably wasn't the greatest thing for me when I got there. I was like, more change, freaking heck. It just, I think a little bit like Michelle, God, I felt a bit like concrete, that my heart had become a bit like concrete, and God just chipped away at it at New Wine this time. I had multiple God moments. A little bit like Michelle, I went to a talk from Aaron Ironside, and I actually didn't want to go to it because I knew that it would probably be good for me. I also didn't want to go to it. There was other things. I didn't want to go to it because it was going to have the really annoying seats, not the nice, comfortable, and it wouldn't have the worship, and it was just like, and I made myself go. And he talked a lot about our brains and about, what goes on through times of stress or times of hard times and all this sort of stuff. And Evan was with me. I didn't know if you felt awkward, but I was pretty much bawling the entire session, and I really felt I needed to go and talk to him. And I talked to him a lot about childhood trauma and what does that effect have on the brain, and just not being able to get past things. And it was crazy. Everything he hit on the head, I was just like, freaking heck. And for quite a while, I've just been hiding, rushing away from people, just doing the practical work, getting stuff done. And God's just been like, now's the time to do the tough work and grow. And yeah, as I was leaving Aaron, he kind of said, for years you've been in your prison self, and you probably needed that. You probably needed the protection. You needed just to do life for the last few years. And that's fine, which was crazy because I've been talking to another person, Sally, which she often said, you've been in protection and you needed to just get on, and that was good for you. And so when he said that, I was like, oh man. And he goes, and now it's time for your growing self. It's time for your maturing self. And for me, it was a moment of, normally I love Holy Spirit moments. I love worship. I love hearing from God in those times. But this wasn't a moment. It was a let's talk and let's get to the nitty gritty. And that was kind of my God moment, which it wasn't a normal moment for me. And it was really, really cool. And sorry, I talk a lot.
Thanks for sharing, Pen.
I want to say, firstly, thank you to all of you who prayed for us at New Wine. We were there the day before setting up tents, and Kipiti was doing what Kipiti does so well, blowing. And that first night there, before everyone else turned up, was a restless night, as I've mentioned to a few of you. You wake up throughout the night and you just hear flap, 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 flap. And you're going, is that okay flapping or is that bad flapping? And do I need to get up and go out there? And then as the day everyone was to turn up, the winds abated, everyone turned up, and it was an amazing time. So thank you for that. But more than the weather, as you can obviously tell, God was doing stuff. And I want to start by echoing Dave's comment, actually. This is only my fourth New Wine, whatever. And you turn up there and it's quite a bit of work, right? Camping is a whole lot of packing, a whole lot of preparing, a whole lot of thinking about. We literally take a kitchen sink when we go. We do. And everything that goes with it. And it's not just all on one person, it's all on a lot of people. But we're going to forget things and end up at the store buying things and all those sorts of things. But it's a lot of effort as well. And I think you can get to the start of camp for us that have been there and you're exhausted already. And you're like, you do just want to go to have a sleep. And then God turns up and you see God turning up in other people's lives and you're like, wow, this is all worthwhile. And it was great. So thank you again for your prayers. And I think for me, a couple of reflections was, one is seeing our church group work so well, honestly, go so smoothly. We had a bunch of teenagers. I don't actually know how many.
Yeah, 8 or 9. Oh, no more than that.
I don't know. A bunch. Let's just go with a bunch.
Isaac,
And
Luke, how many were there?
12.
somewhere around there. I don't know. And
Thanks.
used to run camps for teenagers, and that's stressful. It is stressful, isn't it, Penny?
Yeah.
Yes. They are always on your mind. And yet we had an amazingly good time, and they were meeting God as well, and that's really exciting. For me personally, I thought the sessions were really good. I think that's fair, eh? Obviously, usually at New Wine they have international speakers, not this year, thanks COVID. And I had lowered my expectations, and actually, I think the level might have been up a little bit more, which, shouldn't have lowered my expectations. But anyway, I was very pleasantly surprised. They were really, really good. And I enjoyed every single one I went to. I went to multiple Aaron Ironside sessions, but for me, the God moment was actually, I went to a meeting, as you do. And I went to a meeting, and there is a guy there, Jethro. He's actually an Anglican priest in Auckland, and he was down. And he and I, over 2020, along with a bunch of others, had been doing Zoom meetings, because that's what we did in 2020. And I hadn't talked to him since about November, and we were catching up. Yeah, hi, how you doing? How's the family? And then he goes, Mike, I've had a word for you since November. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, good on you for not forgetting it then. And he shared it with me, and it was something I knew, like something I should have known, but he was reminding me, basically. And I won't tell you what it is, because it was for me. Funny enough, it was about all of you. It's a bit of a tease, isn't it?
I was going to say, what is it?
Yeah.
You're not going to tell us?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was for me, and I really appreciate it. And I told him, thank you for holding on to that for all of these months. You didn't even know if you were going to see me here. And yet it was sort of probably the second thing he wanted to share with me. And I was so appreciative he did. And can't plan that. You just got to turn up and see what happens. And I would encourage anyone. I know some Sundays in the morning you're probably like, oh, can I be bothered? And you got to turn up. You got to go, well, here I am, God. Where are you going to meet me here? And New Wine's very much like that on a bigger scale, would be my reflection. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there any closing comments that anybody would like to make, like I offered the first group?
Like you said, the teens, meet God as well. Our kids also experience the Holy Spirit and God as well. That 11, 10, 9, young, but they still met Him as well. It's really, really cool to see and hear, and
Yeah, meeting not just teenagers, adults, but actually meeting which New Wine focus on, which is quite cool. So thanks for saying that, Shel.
And with the kids thing, it's a village. Like when we create, we say it's a village, but it really is a village. And I personally, as a mum, really appreciated all of the love and guidance and care that my daughter got. But watching, your kids, Michelle, and all of our kids, and I caught up with your niece, Pippa and me chatted every day, and just things like that. It's actually really special as a mum, and I appreciated it, and I would probably say a lot of the adults appreciated it, and the parents as well. So it is a really special time, and I totally reiterate what Dave said as well, that I was a bit going and tired and just whatever, but I came out going, man, I'm super pumped for this year. I'm super excited. Groanfully, I think there was a session where it talked about growing but with pain, and I'm like, yes, let's get through 2021 and let's go for it. And I'm really excited about this year and excited about Epic versus being, do I do it? New Wine is a really cool place to kind of start the year. And yeah, I loved it.
Okay. I was just thinking, can we close this part in prayer?
Yeah, cool.
And thank God for how he met us and how he's going to continue to meet us here in St Andrews this coming year. We don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm sure God's going to do some amazing things. So let's pray. Father, we thank you. We thank you so much that you are our hope, that you bring life and you bring freedom. Sometimes that path to life and freedom is challenging, but all the same, you are there with us. We do not walk that path alone. We walk it with each other and we walk it with you. So Lord, we commit ourselves, we commit St Andrews into your hands this year and look forward with expectation of what you're going to do in us and through us. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much.